decided to put Hasan Piker on the cover and accidentally exposed him as the communist that he is. So make sure to follow me at Rafi the Realtor for all of your real estate needs on Instagram. You can support the channel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Let's get right into it.
Rolling Stone, which once famously put the Boston bomber on its cover, decided to plaster another terror supporter on its pages this week, champagne socialist and America hater Hasan Piker. They call him a Eugene Debs who deadlifts. Piker's own mom outed him for loving China more than anywhere else on earth. Piker's capitalist lifestyle is flaunted in the face of all the supposedly working-class followers he claims to fight for at campaign stops around the country. By the way, all the media focus on Piker is not some kind of cancellation campaign. I'd love to never talk about Hasan Piker again the rest of my life. In fact, I'd like for him to leave our country. That would be awesome. Piker just happens to be one of the biggest pieces of human crap to have entered the political space in the past decade, and Democrats aren't ignoring his evil. They're actually embracing it. Again, this is nothing new. Rolling Stone did a literal front page profile of the Boston Marathon bomber and treated him like a rock star. So treating Hasan Piker as though he's a rock star, this communist piece of shit. Like, truly, get the hell out of our country, truly. I understand he's an American citizen. We need to change those rules ASAP. I'm for a constitutional amendment that gets rid of people who were born in the United States and grew up abroad and came back and hate America. How about that? He is the worst of the worst, and they are just upholding him. This piece in Rolling Stone is extraordinary. His mom lives nearby an apartment he got for her. His little brother, Murat, and sister-in-law live close as well. His dad flew in from Turkey. They're going on vacation to an undisclosed island. Again, they don't hate the capitalism. They just hate America. So his mom, who is an architectural historian who specializes in 19th century Turkish interiors, hung around, and she said that she agrees with Piker's politics with a few exceptions. Quote, I'm not in love with China like he is. Now, again, Piker was born in New Jersey in 1991. His family immediately moved back to Turkey. He grew up in Ankara and Istanbul. They brought him to stay with his grandparents in central New Jersey every summer. And he went to basketball camp, watched Adult Swim, played PlayStation 2. He said, when you're growing up in a different country, American consumerism is incredible. Free refills, 30 different flavors of Oreos. Silly, simple things that I like that. I still really love about America. So he loves, all the products, but he hates capitalism. And as Rolling Stone observes, he controls the means of production. His profits are based on the market. A subscription to his channel runs $6 a month. He has about 50,000 subscribers, minus Twitch's 30% cut. That's north of $2 million a year. He doesn't run ads or do brand partnerships. And he has a Mercedes. Again, they call him a Eugene Debs who deadlifts, Abby Hoffman with abs. Okay, and now, again, AOC, the left will never let go of him because he represents all the things. He hates America. Hates America. That is the key. The key to, again, disowning the Piker who hates America is disowning Piker, but they will never do it. They will not. Here's AOC doing the same thing.
He said a lot of controversial things. Is he somebody that should have a role in the progressive movement going forward?
I think when we look at our elections that have happened, we have lost young people. Much hay was made about the fact that we lost young men in the last election. And many of the same consultants that are wringing their hands today were the same ones talking about how we need to go on Joe Rogan and we need to be not so, willing to engage in cancel culture.
Oh my God, the left, you know how infuriating it is to hear people like this talk about cancel culture? They were all in favor of canceling people who believed baseline normal things. They were perfectly happy with that. It's disgusting to listen to them. Disgusting to listen to AOC or Abdul Sayed talk about cancel culture. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? You know what is a funny thing that happens when you build a business? At some point, it actually becomes a real business. You've got employees and benefits and contracts and about 1,000 moving pieces nobody warned you about. Honestly, it's really disconcerting because well, that's really, really true of insurance because what is in, there are super fine print facts. So what is not? You can see one power /Shapiro paid for by Super. Make this part of your life easier. Supersure.com. Of course, then just pretend that they're just doing, FDR. It's just FDR stuff. Mamdani trying to pretend that he is some sort of FDR guy. Again, the pitch for Zoran Mamdani, as opposed to any other normie Democrat in the city of New York. Every Democrat in the city of New York ever has campaigned as an FDR acolyte. That is not what distinguishes Zoran Mamdani. It is his hatred of America that distinguishes Zoran Mamdani. It is what the Democratic Party is embracing full scale.
We're seeing a lot of examples of what it can look like to have that focus on the working person. People who understand that affordability isn't just something you say, it's something you have to deliver. And that in doing this, we're not running away from the Democratic Party. We're going back to what the party used to be. You think about FDR and LaGuardia. You think about the New Deal. That's what the Democratic Party once was. That's what it could be again. And if we want to win, I think that's what we have to become.
I'm pretty sure FDR and LaGuardia didn't hate the country. I'm pretty sure there's that, and didn't associate with people who are pro-terrorism. I don't know. So here's the thing. There's a vulnerability for Woke 2.0, just as there was with Woke 1.0. So with Woke 1.0, it turns out that Hispanic Americans particularly were not that into it. They voted en masse for Trump in 2024. And it turns out that for Woke 2.0, both Black and Hispanic Americans are not all that into it. Right? The Abdul El Sayed voter share by college degree and median household income, not amazing. Right? Again, look at this. Okay, so the core constituency, believe it or not, for El Sayed, again, were people who don't earn that much money, but have very, very high levels of education. Of course. Of course. The casually unsuccessful. The highly educated unsuccessful. That is like his core constituency. Pissed off white people who got a college degree and can't get a job now. That is his constituency. Combined with people who just despise America. Because again, he won 90% of the vote in Dearborn, something like that, in the Muslim community in Dearborn. Now again, this is a weakness for Woke 2.0. And the president knows it. The president tweeted out, Black and brown voters don't want communism or socialism. Not surprisingly, they're flocking to the Republican Party. They remember Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Well, that's not why. Okay, first of all, I think that the right needs to stop talking predominantly about communism and socialism because the stats show that people don't even know what those things mean anymore. Bernie Sanders has pretended that Denmark is socialist for long enough that people now think that when people say socialism, they mean Denmark as opposed to, say, Soviet Russia. Here is the thing that they all have in common. They despise America and her founding principles, despise it, and they are lying about it. That is the thing. They hate America. Bernie Sanders vacationed in the Soviet Union as a young man. These people despise the United States. But here's the thing. The left figures if the economy gets bad enough, then Woke 2.0 will still succeed. And again, it's not self-refuting quite the way that Woke 1.0 was.
Well, let us know your thoughts. You think Hasan Piker should be deported? Do you think communism is a problem? Do you think it's ironic how a capitalist hates capitalism? Leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor on Instagram for all of your real estate needs. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. And you can support the channel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. I thank you all for your support. Thank you as always for watching. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.